So I was just recording earlier video for you, and in the middle of my recording it, I was sitting on a swing in my backyard. I freaking fell and hit me. And I'm way too embarrassed to send it to you. So I figured just tell you about it instead. So my life story. Trying to make it quick. I was born and raised in New Zealand, and I learned to sell from my parents, mostly from my dad, who has the gift of the gab, as we call it. He loves to talk to people. My mom has the social awareness that my dad lacks, and so I learned from her when to shut up, when to recognize people aboard, and looking away, looking at their watches, and don't really have any interest in the rest of what you're talking about. Something my dad doesn't have. So I was born and raised on a farm in the middle of nowhere, 20 minutes drive from any kind of real civilization. Went to a tiny little primary school in New Zealand, had maximum of 40 students at any given time. School no longer is in service. I went to the same school and then high school after that in my small town, where I had powerful influences who encouraged me in leadership, encouraged me in seeking the best, looking for God's best in your life and focusing on Him. I made God the boss of my life. At a young age, I had an awareness of Him. And then even when I was 13, I had decided that when I was 30, I didn't want to be that person who said, I strayed away from God and then I came back. I wanted to be a person who had pushed through and fought for my relationship with God despite everything and despite my hardships, despite what life threw at me. And I'm proud to say that that determination and heart of that 13-year-old came true, and God has always shown His existence and being with me, and my relationship with Him has always been there. And now it's had different variations, but it's always been strong, and I've always known His love and His support and His care for me. I graduated from high school, kind of. I wasn't getting enough credits for my last year of school, so I went to work, and I started working. I didn't have any particular career that I wanted, so I chose the path of working and learning and getting paid to learn what I believe a lot of people pay to learn and actually don't fully learn it because they don't experience it. So here I am. After all these years of experience, I was working in sales, even with my dad, selling compost at 8 years old. I went into youth ministry out of high school after I worked at some cafes, learning just customer service and different basics like that. Learned how to make coffee. I love a good espresso. New Zealand nails espresso, but we got some sweet places here in America. So I can make you a killer cup of coffee if you needed it. In fact, may have given some tips across the counter because I'm a bit bold like that. So I went into youth ministry. I worked at that for 2 years. I studied youth work with students in New Zealand, graduated that class, and then moved to America with a narcissistic professional skateboarder. And I endured 6 years of that chaos in my life. He got extremely sick. He got end-stage renal failure, amongst other things, and he never fully recovered. He had a lot of psychological issues, and it was a very unhealthy place for me, and I finally worked up the courage to leave the relationship. And God has brought me through. He taught me so much about Himself, who He was, and how much He still loved me, and got rid of a lot of ideals in my heart and my mind about who God was and how much He loves us and how He loves us despite all that we go through and all that we do and the decisions we make. And I'm so, so, so grateful for that experience. It brought me here to America, and so I have a platform now and a jumping board of where I can live in the peace that I live in now. I'm in the most peaceful place of my life, and I'm so grateful for the relationships that I have and the people that surround me, and for the people who have loved me unconditionally throughout it all. And because of all that I've been through, it's given me grace for people who are struggling and aren't always aware of how their situation is, and gives me grace when I sell to people and see where they are and their customers. It makes me love coaching because I feel like I can relate to a lot of people in a lot of different areas, and God gives me insight in places I don't know. Then I walked in several different sales positions in the United States. Sales has always been something that has come naturally to me. I find that it's something that makes me come alive. It sets me on fire and gives me an opportunity to tell people about God, whether it's pray for them because they're sick, or encourage them when they're feeling down, or just need encouragement in general. I love people, and I make friends, and those friends last a lifetime, and I'm so grateful for his skills that he placed in me to help me live my best life. Anybody can do my job, but nobody can be me. I love to coach and help people. I think that ought to do it. Thanks, Dale.